Welcome back to A Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes, and today I am joined by Jerry Taylor to take a wander around paradise. And Jerry, there is lots to talk about. Disappointing weekend.
Certainly was. Been a disappointing couple of weeks. I was not expecting that result. I went in full of confidence with that one. I really thought we were going to get 4 or 5 goals, but just didn't work out the way we expected, did it?
You know, when I looked at last week's preparations, I did feel as though there might have been an issue of banana skin at Kilmarnock. There seemed to be a set of circumstances working against us a wee bit. Big part of that being the injuries. But I didn't get that feeling last week. I went in confident, Jerry. And I was interested to see how he started, particularly at centre-half. I had pitched the idea that we bring Johnson back in at centre-half, but he brought Scales in, and it was a test for him, because I think this is a dress rehearsal for Ibrox. You're thinking, if we start Scales against St Johnstone, then you're going to start him against Rangers. And to be fair, I wasn't convinced. So that's one of the biggest concerns for me, although bringing Johnson back was a huge plus. He's a huge positive impact on this team, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%. As soon as I saw he was in the starting lineup, I was a bit torn. I was like, is this too soon to throw him straight in? But the engine the boys got on him, he's unreal, and we've missed him so much. You could see that in the first half as well, creating chances and just getting down that wing. It's with the Kilmarnock one, I genuinely thought that was maybe Brendan Rodgers' Lincoln Red Imps moment, and it was going to be right. Okay, let's back to work and let's get out there and win again. I don't know if there's much he can really do right now when it comes to the injuries that we've got, the ins and outs, the transfers coming in and out. He's taken over at a time where Ange Postecoglou's probably done all this prep beforehand, and all of a sudden the carpet's been swept away, and it's turning into a rebuild now as opposed to a freshen up of the squad.
I know, a rebuild rather than a reset.
Aye.
And I think that we're now in a situation, obviously in a world of social media, where instantly you know what the reaction is of a huge group of our fan base. I'm going to put it out there right now. I'm right behind Brendan Rodgers, and I'll explain why, Jerry. I think that Rodgers has inherited a lot of these issues. You know, Celtic haven't been playing well. You know, at the end of Ange's tenure, they weren't playing well. And I was talking about it last night. I said, when was the last time we played brilliant? You know, we blew our team away.
First half of Kilmarnock. That's when the second half of Kilmarnock is when it all started to fall apart, wasn't it?
Never really played well.
No, and we thought it was because we won it. Mm-hmm. But it's not. When you look back, it was starting to get stale.
It was getting stale. It was. And you wonder, you know, was that because Ange, you know, was kind of checking out because he was discussing his future elsewhere? That could then filter into the players who could get a sense that there was something wrong. And, you know, Brendan's walked into that, and you throw in on top of that all the injuries that he's got. I mean, it's unprecedented when you look at the fact that we're playing our 5th or 6th choice centre-half, potentially at Ibrox next week, unless we bring in an emergency one.
Well, that's what I'm hoping for, because it's not just Ibrox, is it? We've got the Champions League coming up as well, and if we're struggling against Kilmarnock, St Johnstone, I'm no fancying our chances against the likes of PSG or Real Madrid. So there's a lot of work to be done. I'm seeing 2 scenarios here, and I don't think there's much room in the middle between them. We're either going to end up with one of these panic transfer windows the last 5 days where we're getting the types of your Diego Laxalts coming in. I'm hoping that's not going to be the case, but I think Brendan seems to be taking the bull by the horns this week. I'm hoping. Well, they're hearing that there's 5 coming in, maybe 6 going out. And it's going to go 2 ways. It's either going to be we're going to get some great players in that he's identified and he knows he's going to do a job straight away, or this is going to be a panic buy where we're going to end up with some players like Yarajetis and players like that. But I'm going for the positive side of it. I still believe in Brendan Rodgers. There's a lot of pressure on him. If he doesn't get a result in his next game, the pressure's going to triple, quadruple. And I don't think that's going to be the case.
Quadruple treble.
Quadruple treble, aye. Let's just keep the faith. And I think, do you know what, this might sound a bit daft, but the fact is, we've not got this treble to think about now. I wouldn't say it's a monkey off the back, but it's like, our focus now is the league, the Scottish Cup, and doing well in Europe. All right, put the rest of it to bed. Look forward to it. I'm positive. I know that Jim Orr says that I'm Mr. Over Positivity at times, and I get that. But for me, there's 33 games left in the league. 33 games. We've been here before. First 6 games, Ange's first season. We've won the great. We weren't setting the header alight. So I'm hoping after this week, in 5 days, to make a big difference, and I believe we will.
There's one thing about the reaction, Jerry. A lot of these players may not have experienced the fact that when you play for Celtic, even a draw isn't good enough. And then after the game, there was a lot made of the fact that the players with Brendan Rodgers have gone up to obviously salute the fans, and they've probably not got the reception that they expected, but they probably should have expected it.
They should have expected it. I think some of the team would have done the more kind of hardened players that know about Celtic. A lot of these players are just used to winning. They've not seen this reaction, and who knows, it could be a rocket up the backside that maybe some of them need. I like the fact that Brendan Rodgers had the bottle to go to the crowd. Yeah. I mean, look at it, he was getting blamed for never going to the crowd when he was winning, and now he's finally doing it when we're not winning. And I think that takes guts. I think he expected it was coming. He's a Celtic fan, right? He came back, he's proved that. And I know there was a lot of heat on him for leaving, but he's come back. He wants this club to do well, and nobody will be fighting for us more than him right now, maybe inside there as we speak.
Definitely. See the thing, Jerry, right? There might be a bit of a reverse psychology where Brendan knows how the Celtic fans are going to react. That's why they're going to take his players and say, listen, this isn't good enough. This is what you're going to be faced with if this doesn't improve. But I think what I'm looking for now, I'm looking for the Callum McGregor obviously being the captain, James Forrest, Anthony Ralston. I'm looking for that type of player to really be leaders, in the dressing room. Behind the scenes, we've got a clutch of new players and more to come. And I think you need to have that nucleus. And I would throw Joe Hart in there, I would throw Cameron Carter-Vickers in there and say, listen, there's a group of 5 or 6, experienced senior pros who know what this club's all about, and you have got to lead now. You've got to lead us out of this sticky patch, because that's all it is, let's be honest. It's a couple of games. And then I just mentioned there, players coming in. We have already brought in half a dozen. And the rumour is, Jerry, we're going to be bringing in another 4 or 5, as many as 5 more players in the next week. And again, it might take a while for that to stabilise and for them all to blend into the team.
Yeah, I know, that's the one thing. On one hand, you're thinking, great, we're getting all these players coming in. On the other hand, you're going, how long are they needing? Are these players that we're getting in, if they had a pre-season? Are we going to bring in a centre-half for maybe just a couple of months? If that's the case, who's been out of contract that long? Have they been training? Are they going to be fit to go straight into it? I'm looking at, I think you mentioned it before, a kind of Colo Torre type signing here, where they will come in. We need that. We need a wise head in that team. The average age of the squad's gone down, getting rid of the likes of Starfelt and other players, and I just think, I think Brendan's going to pull some strings and bring in some kind of good old heads, ones that he can trust, that know they can just get us through that game and then start to build from there. That's the hope anyway.
So Jerry, you've been on a Celtic State of Mind now for a few weeks. It's been great to have you on board.
All accidentally as well. I come on to promote my show. I was going to come on for 10 minutes and I've no left.
And look at that, me. You're still here. You were at our live event on Friday. You're here on Monday morning for a Wander in Paradise. But you're right, you were talking about your show. So let's have a wee chat about it, because it's coming up very, very shortly, isn't it?
Coming up this Friday, mate, at the Pavilion Theatre, singing I'm Not a Billy, She's a Tim. And it's been touring with guys for 2 decades, mate. 2 decades this show's been selling out theatres. And it just got to a point that a lot of our audience members were female. A lot of the interaction and traffic and social media was coming from females. So we just thought, it's time for the lassies to take over. So it's not just the boys that are bigots in the end. And it's all about shining that light on how bad bigotry is. A lot of people get the wrong idea of the show and think it glamorises it. Couldn't be further from the truth. What it does is it puts a Rangers and Celtic fan in a prison cell. We know where to go. There's a camera. They can't batter each other. Where do you go from there? So what they do is they have to listen to each other's stories, each other's traditions, and they start to pick it apart. While we've also got, on the other side, we've got a prison guard. And basically, she's going through her own grief at the moment, at the same moment. And that highlights exactly just how stupid it is, sectarianism in Scotland. You're never gonna cure it. You're never gonna get rid of it. But it does shine a light on it. We've got a fantastic cast. We've got Dion Frati, who's playing Billy. Absolutely hilarious and really one to watch for, because I don't know how she's not been spotted yet, but she'll be absolutely fantastic. And then playing Tim, the Celtic fan, we have got Jade McDonald, and she's absolutely brilliant. She's just this wee 25-year-old lassie, but she's like an atomic bomb. Do you know that way? She just looks so cute and innocent, but when she goes on playing Tim, it just blows everyone away. And we've got Rachel Ogilvie playing the guard Harriet. Rachel's pretty much played every doctor and every soap in the land. She's a great actor. She was in High Road, and she's playing this real serious part and just adds something to the show. So I'm really happy that I've got such an amazing cast. We've got 3 amazing understudies as well, and it's just up to me now to make sure that the show's any good.
How's the rehearsal going?
Rehearsals have been great. It's been pretty full on. It was 9 days rehearsal, so they've been in every single day. I've been getting up in the morning, going down, then I've been going away, doing the Celtic events and then back. And do you know what? It's just been absolutely brilliant. Obviously, as a Celtic fan, results haven't been great, so rehearsals have been getting the mickey taken out of me at times. But it's a good room and it's a great show. We're on in the 1st and 2nd at the Pavilion. We've got 2 shows on the Saturday. And I all came about just years ago. I thought I was doing all my own stuff in there, but nobody knew of me. And then any time I try to get in a theatre in Glasgow, they're like, never heard of your work. So I thought, try and get a show. So I approached Des Dillon, who wrote the show, and said, look, any chance that I can get it? And he's like, no, I do the show. He said, but come and meet me and we'll talk about something else. So I sold my telly because I was skint at the time. I didn't have any money. So I sold my telly and I hired a car so I could meet him in Girvan, where I now live, which is mad. And every time I pass the chippy that I met him in, I always think of this moment. We ended up talking about something else and then he just says, say this line. And he gave me a line for the show and I said it and he went, you'd be a great Tim. You'll be the understudy. So he gave me the understudy and then it went on at the Pavilion. And then after the show at the Pavilion, he gave me the role. And ever since then, I've been playing Tim and then ended up directing it, producing it. And now we're doing the rebrand and this is how it all came about today.
I'm looking forward to it. Where can we get tickets, Jerry?
You can get tickets on the Pavilion website, Glasgow Pavilion, online.
So, as always, Jerry, in this week of all weeks, it's Derby week. There's a lot to discuss. How confident are you feeling with the start to the season we've got and the news that we're bringing in another 4 or 5 new players?
Yeah, it's always the same when it comes to the Derby matches for me. It doesn't matter the form. There's always a bit of nerves there. I'm hoping that because of our last 2 results, we might be underestimated slightly. I think if there's ever a game where you've got to start upping your game, it's going to be this one. But I'm quietly confident. I wouldn't be surprised if it ended in a draw because both clubs right now seem to be kind of through this transition period. So I think I can't call this one, but I'm always going to take the side of Celtic when it comes to favourites. So I think we might sneak a win.
We're looking at Palma apparently, being the first in the door this week. He might be imminent. His signature might be imminent. Where else do you want us to strengthen, Jerry?
It's a strange one because all pre-season I've been saying goalkeeper, and right now goalkeeper is the least of our worries, and that just shows how good Joe Hart's been over the past few weeks as well. But for me, it's a left back, a centre back, and centre midfield that I want to see. I think we've got all coming back. We can use Maeda up front. I don't think we should be panicking and buying a striker right now, but I would like to see, I think, pretty much the spine going through the middle of the park. I wouldn't be bothered if we didn't sign a goalkeeper now, even though I've been rattling on about it all season. For me right now, it's the 10 in front of the goalkeeper that we need to be trying to fix.
This is the thing, that's been a positive since Brendan came in for me. The form of Matt O'Reilly for a kick-off.
Yeah.
Also, Joe Hart's role has changed. He's not expected to have the ball at his feet that often, the tippy-tappy, and it's improved his game, right? I mean, even at the weekend there, he shouldn't have to be called upon. And he wasn't for about 70 minutes. But there was 2 occasions where we have failed to defend properly, and Joe Hart has managed to pull off the saves. And so these are positives that are often going under the radar because we're not getting the results at the moment, Jerry. But one thing I do want to discuss, and it's very unfortunate, is we talk about fan reaction. That's to be expected. You look at social media and it goes into meltdown, right? Well, what about the players' reaction on social media?
It's not been good to see at all. You pointed out a while back as well, I think when we were talking about McGregor, talking about everyone needs to stick together. To say that really early on in a season, then all of a sudden you've got Haksabanovic putting a post like that out, and then other players liking it, and straight away I was like, there's your split. You're meant to be drawing a line in the sand, not crossing over it, and I just, at the time, and we don't know, was that at us? Was that at us because the fans are booing? Was it at the manager? Was it the coaching team? I mean, even under the previous management, it wasn't getting as much game time towards the end. So was that a dig at them also? Are we all wrong? It's like, if you can't see my ability, well, I think the problem is we're starting to. So it's this whole social media. I mean, we've had it a couple of times now. With Giacomakis, with the old egg timer telling us he was on his way. Is this the new way that we're all going to be finding out? But it's toys out the pram, and to me, when you've got that toxicity, easy for me to say, my teeth back in, when you've got that in a club, it's like a cancer that's going to eat away at the dressing room, and you've got to cut it out, and they need to go. And if that means putting them training even below the reserves until they go, I think that's drastic measures needed now, because if that's setting in now, only a couple of games, there's only one way that's going to go.
even if it's just 2 players, right, and Haksabanovic is one of them, for me, this week, it's a priority to move them on. Because one bad apple is all it takes in a changing room. Jerry, now, we have been doing a wander around Paradise for a few weeks. It's great. It's a great way to start the week. You get a wee bit of exercise, a wee bit of fresh air as well. And often we get some visits up at Celtic Park as well from people who are tuning in, which is tremendous. On Friday night, we had an event with Charlie Mulgrew, Mark Wilson, and we were able to raise another £500 for wee Jamie Tierney. So the Sell the Jerseys initiative, you've obviously given us your signed jersey, and it's going really well. So what to do is check out underneath of this video. There is a link on how to assist wee Jamie Tierney.
We do that. Will that pop up?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Thumbs up, give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and join us tomorrow at 12:30 for a Celtic State of Mind.